do FAQ, gun through all 3, and then we'll do the tiny bit of lore. Lore's going to be quick.
Oh, no, I might do the lore. Sorry, we've just gone live. Sorry. Yeah. We'll do the lore one later, I reckon. I haven't even read that one, man. I haven't even read that one.
Cool. Happy days.
So, yeah. Sorry, I had it on my other screen there. Hey, guys, sorry, we just went live and everyone's... I don't know how many people are actually watching. It's Gomo and Andrew from Old World Fanatics here, and we just jumped on very ad hocly because we got a bit of a present this morning, didn't we, when we woke up? New FAQs. It's pretty funny. Good. One of the FAQs is for the Arcane Journal. It's not even out. So
yeah, I know.
Kind of
I saw that. I was just like, ooh.
Oh, I love that. It's cool. Yeah. So hopefully we decided to go live stream in case people are around and have some questions, comments as well. If not, obviously you can watch this after the fact. So yeah, for those who just see this pop up in the YouTube stream, obviously there is a new 1.2 version FAQ and errata for Old World. Hey, Sexy. How you go, mate? Good old Jim. He's always a good person to jump into the chats. Let us know if you want to jump on too, but you're probably at work. So, and then there's obviously, Ravening Hordes and Force of Fantasy got an update, although I did notice the Legacy ones didn't, so that's all cool, but it's what it is. Cool. So we don't, that's right, yeah. It is going to affect a lot of armies. These old Orc and Goblins got a bit of a nerf. So let's go through. I can lead it if you want, and we can have a chat. Do you want to? I'm going to just focus on the red and blue, obviously. But there's a couple of places that we might want to just have a chat about what it means as well. Yeah. In context, in terms of, for list building and stuff like that. Cool. So blue is just a change from the last errata, I think, and magenta's new. Yep. So Yes. I'm going down the columns, by the way, so I'll just double check there's nothing on that. There is not. So the first one is this fly one, basically saying that you can choose to move on the ground as normal or use your fly movement. So
thought that was
I'm not
a bit
sure.
of a given, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't spelled out. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a bit of weird. Now, I'm not sure this one is... I've heard weird things about the wounds and monster handlers. I'm guessing this is what it affects, but I haven't actually used it. So on a roll of 1 to 4, the monster loses a wound, but on a roll of 5 up, one of the handlers is removed. So I think... I don't know if I'm right there, but I think someone was saying something about there wasn't specifically when it hits the handlers... it doesn't it just says hits the handlers, but it's like, do they die? Like, was it that? I don't know. Did you remember?
Yeah, that's from shooting, I'm thinking. I thought that was a given.
Hey, Matt.
Like,
yeah.
Hits the handler.
What happens when you lose all your handlers? Is the thing dead, or does it go crazy? Because I haven't used any monsters.
It just gives you like better. They're kind of like
a little ward save,
leadership and whatnot. Little buffs. So yeah, they're just you add them on to make the unit better, essentially. Like they don't run off without handling.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
That's going
crazy.
off the Skaven. Yeah, that's just the Skaven ones I've looked at. Obviously.
There you go. Daniel just said, I think it's because at least the Dark Elf handlers don't actually have a wound value. So there was this weird thing where it's like, well, what happens? Is it just magically lost?
Well, there you go.
So they're actually saying the handler gets removed. Okay. So they're just assuming it's dead. Yeah. I knew there was something weird with it because I haven't actually used it. I haven't run into it. Now, this is why I needed I went ahead and deleted all 1.1 facts and have to get it off you. I wasn't sure what changed here with reserve move. Someone's printing something, so I'm assuming someone's about to come into the office. Sorry. End of the shooting phase. What changed was of its turn. I didn't even realise that. So that's funny. So I wonder if people were like, rules is written, well, now I can reserve move in every shooting phase, even yours.
Yeah.
It's just like the shit they have to put in.
Yeah, I know.
Because people are just going to take the mickey is, I feel sorry for them sometimes.
It is. It's just people being
idiots, yeah. So that was it for changes to erratas, and the rest of it's the exciting stuff, I guess, which is the frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Miss Junkie Bits, who is also a new patron. So thank you. Anyone try and resume on the 3D printer yet? I've hit pause on mine, but never resume. So I think it's a bit scary. And Dono said, Herald of the Old World said there are some serious what the fuck ones in here. Yeah, I know. There's some ones you just like, why did you have to answer that? But anyway, I'm glad they're answering it. Hey, like it's so cool to get a Rata and FAQ. What's our third one effectively, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens if a hit's rolled on the scatter dice for an object that moves in a random direction? Do I use the small arrow on a hit icon to determine the direction? And basically saying if it doesn't say that they move based on the little arrow, they stay in place. And now this is something that we did discuss. Mountain Miniatures were talking about it, that fanatics stay in place and stuff and some of the templates. I'm reading this as, yes, that's exactly right now. However, I could see where people go, you know how it says rolled on the scatter dice for an object that moves in a random direction. It doesn't actually fully spell out, and this is what the idiots will do, that things that move in random directions uses a scatter dice. They still haven't really spelled that out. They're just saying that if it's rolled on a scatter dice, the object moves in a random direction. I can see that's the other way. Like at some point they probably should have just spelled that out, that everything that's moves randomly uses a scatter dice. I think that would I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying there? Do you reckon I'm going a little bit overboard there? But
it's anything to clarify. I think that was it was very grey, and there was lots of different interpretations. So
because people were saying, well, it just says move randomly. You could spin a bottle, or but exactly. I think they've, I don't know, rules is intended. Use the scatter dice, and if it doesn't say it moves by the little black thing, then if it's a hit, it stays in place. So, so Jim just said, it's not definitive. I know it's a bit frustrating. Like, just pass this over a few people and they'd come straight back with some ambiguities here. Ambiguities. I can't even talk this morning. That's right. Fanatics won't move, and there's definitely some templates that just sit in spot as well, which is pretty cool. If some of my opponent's attacks cause multiple wounds to be lost per unsaved wound they cause, in what order are those unsaved wounds applied to my unit? God, I hate these ones. Apply unsaved wounds to a unit one at a time and one model at a time. When a model is reduced to 0 wounds on the profile, it's removed as a casualty. If a model loses more wounds than it has on its profile, the excess wounds are lost. They don't spill out onto the other unit. With this in mind, apply unsaved wounds that cause models to lose all their remaining wounds first, like Killing Blow Monster Slayer, then unsaved wounds that cause multiple wounds, and then unsaved wounds that cause single. So I guess that's just spelling out again that unless you're in a challenge and stuff, excess wounds don't count. And then I like that ordering of, I haven't run into a situation where it screws me around because I probably just haven't hit that situation.
Yeah, it might be like a monster, like some of the monsters have got like the tail attack at the same time. So maybe it might be, if they've got the same initiative attacks, it could just, pretty rare, but it's good at spelling it out, I suppose.
Yeah. Fanatic means they die. And that means they die. Oh, what's this? Sorry, Herald of the Old World saying it means they die. I don't think so. If they just spin in space, I don't think they die. I think they just sit there. Just Kylie Minoguing. Yeah, that's right. We'll get to fanatics. We'll get to movement. I like this. What constitutes a move? They should have put these at the beginning and they wouldn't have had the drilled issue. Quite simply, if you touch a model or unit that changes its position in any way, it has moved. There are some exceptions to this, like a war machine, pivoting, but it'll spell out if it is not counting as moving. Otherwise, I like how they've done this. The broadest definition: if a model or a unit shifts its position, it changes its location, it has moved. So, because there's so many things I have seen people going, well, it's not the remaining move subphase, and you're like, what? Who gives a shit? That's just things move outside of that bloody phase. Yeah. It's it's just funny. No, I like how they've done that, and there's a couple of places where they've tried to sort of go, hey, if you after this third FAQ, if you don't understand that they really want us to go off rules as intended, then I don't know what you're thinking. Like, I'm not saying you still need rules as written, you do, but I just think, that you can really see the intention they've tried to put into this stuff.
Without taking the mickey out of
what is the furthest a model? Man, this is you can read. Can you read this one because it's too long for me? Or is it too hard for you because you're going off your screen?
No. It's so what's the furthest a model can move? No model can move more than twice its movement characteristic, which is, I like that. Or when movement is determined by dice roll, such as when a unit charges or flees. Further than the distance rolled. There are, of course, exceptions to this. most obvious being when a unit in marching column marches its triple movement characteristic, or when models are moved by the effect of a spell, when a unit is obliged to continue its move rather than end up on top of another unit, and obligatory moves, such as when a charging unit wheels to a line, or when a unit pivots before fleeing. Note that when a unit wheels, those at its rear do not follow. Didn't want to get into this again. A long curved path, as it might appear when moving a large block of models on the table. In reality, those models will take a more direct route, following the path of the front rank and resuming their formation behind it. Accordingly, we do not measure the distance moved by models in the rear ranks of a wheeling unit. Note also when a unit is permitted a free maneuver before or after moving, this is free. That does not count towards the move itself. But the limitation that no model can move more than twice its movement characteristic applies within the maneuver.
That bit's a bit confusing to me at the end, but I sort of like, I guess what I mean by that is that mean you're about to charge and use drilled, which is a free maneuver, so that totally doesn't count, like when they move or contract. But then when you do your other maneuvers in the move, like if you wheeled or like you know, I don't know, like, well, I guess you drill charge, you do one wheel, then they can't go more than twice. Well, they can, I guess, because they're doing a charge, which is by a dice roll. So
yeah, by the dice roll.
Yeah, it's good it's spelled out, but I still think, I mean, this has always been a bit not contentious, but it's always been sometimes tricky when some weird formations and things where people zip in and out. So an example, though, I guess here would be, and I'm just off the top of my head, if I bring a character in the sort of, I've got a big conga line, right?
Yeah.
And I bring a character to the right and bash into the unit to join, I can put that guy in the fighting rank, but does that mean, can I still not move him more than twice his movement? Or is that a different thing again?
I'm not entirely sure in that situation, but I think it is leaning towards people not doing these weird maneuvers that are just getting a bit out of hand. I think that's just trying to just nerf that down a little bit.
Plus, I like how it's determining that front rank, because I think people, there was discussions, I haven't seen it lately, but there was discussions, I think from the original, when it first came out, about when you're measuring that rear rank, well, do you measure like the furthest person who moved in the rear rank? So at least they've wiped that out and said, no, don't do that. I know that has that issue that we talked about with Josh's charge thing the other day, but I think that's more of a clarification about can units move through other units and when and how, and how much can move through another unit, because I still think that needs to be fact. The corner, I think.
Back corner, and that's a lot more.
Versus an entire model going through a unit, I think it's a bit of FAQ. Yeah, cool. Is there any comments on that? They can't move more than double their move unless they do. Thanks. They can't move more than double their move unless they do. Thanks, Games Workshop. That's Warhammer in a nutshell, isn't it? Yeah. Can a wizard cast a conveyance spell during a turn in which they charged? No, that's cool. I mean, I guess, it probably needed to be spelled out, I guess. Given that a conveyance, I don't know, conveyance spell, you wouldn't be able to cast it if you're in combat anyway. I guess if it's a self spell, so it's good that's clarified. How many magic missiles or magic vortexes can a wizard attempt to cast during a shooting phase? As many as they know. There are exceptions. A wizard can usually attempt to cast each spell once per turn. I think this is that weird one, which I always thought that. But then I heard these rumors that people were saying no, and I was like,
you only use one.
I could never work out where that came from. So I don't know. There probably is some combination of which order you read your rules in where it becomes illegal, but that's good. Good that it's spelled out, however you say it.
Yeah, could get some magic missile caddies, just bulk magic missiles.
2 characters are engaged in a challenge whilst their units battle around them. At the end of the round, the losing unit might fall back in good order or give ground. If their enemy pursues or follows up, does the challenge continue? Yes. If both participants in a challenge survive the round, and if the combat continues, the challenge continues. It's good it's spelled out.
I thought it was the same combat, because it's like you don't keep getting hatred and whatnot.
I mean, it just the concept of this idea that the combat sort of briefly breaks apart but continues, but then sometimes in fall back for Bygo you can still count as charging, but you're not really charging for hatred. Like it probably needs a next version. They need to maybe clarify, like come up with some new terminology for it, because I think it all makes sense now, but I can see how it's bloody confusing. Okay, Daniel's saying that shooting one, I suspect it comes from only being able to fire one missile weapon. Yeah. Like, I get that, but I mean, I've never read that as, like, the missile weapon's a missile weapon. I guess they're saying if you've got a missile weapon and a magic missile, can you not shoot the... Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, it's spelled out now. Do you want to do the next one? Sorry, I keep hogging them.
Yeah, I just got my kid and my dog having a fight here.
Oh, do you want to sort it?
No, it's all good. If a model with a split profile has impact hits, special rule, do all parts of the model cause impact hits? This is like... Anyway, no impact hits are only made by a mount, not by its rider. In the case of a chariot, impact hits are made by the chariot itself, not the beast that draws it. If a rider has their own impact hit, special rule, these are made separately by the rider. Again, I thought it was a given, but yeah.
Fair, yeah. And then this one's a bit annoying. Did you understand this one?
Yeah. Where the impact hits get basically distributed.
So it's saying if a unit with impact hits, overruns or pursues into contact with an enemy unit, it counts as having charge in the next turn. And if it moved far enough, will it be able to make impact hits? If the unit... I don't think did they actually answer that bit? I don't know. But then if there's another question, if that unit is charged in its flank or rear by another enemy unit before the combat phase of the next turn, can it direct its impact hits against the charging enemy unit? So then they just go no, which is weird because they've actually asked two questions. You just said no, but when you read it.
Yeah, I think they're kind of just stating that it overruns and then contacts into an enemy. It counts as having charged. Then if it's moved far enough, like the 3 inches or whatever, then it will be able to make its impact hits. Yeah, I think it's just kind of making a statement in that first bit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I think the first question is technically, I don't know.
It's saying
sure the first question is a yes. The second one is a no, in the sense that, and I'll read, in such case, where is it? This remains the case even if a challenge arises involved in model within a unit that charges the flank or rear of the unit making the impact hits. In such cases, impact hits cannot be directed against the other participants in the challenge. Instead, they are directed against the unit charged by the model making the impact hit. So, like, I think what they're saying is, like, you overrun, you hit some unit, and then that's it for your turn, and then next turn you get charged. I have done this, I think, with you even, that I was counting as charging, so I put my impact hits on your flanking unit. Whereas they're saying, no, that impact hits have to go on the unit you charged. And then... and even in the case of a challenge, where usually the impact hits are directed against the challenge, they're saying, no, that impact hits has to be directed against the actual unit, like, which is sort of against the challenge thing. But you could never put the impact hits on that unit anyway, so they can't be in the challenge. So at least it means you don't lose your impact hits. They go against the unit you charged, even if you get challenged out. It could have been two questions, not one. I think it was a bit bit
it's good, but I like them spelling that out.
Yeah.
Seems more realistic.
I love this one because this is I get a definite buff, which was played this way in S-Bot, Sean said, but then I hit Kendall up for Castle Salt and he said no, because I didn't agree with this, but it is how it works, so that's cool. Yeah. Can models in the rear ranks of a unit shoot at a large target? Yes. As stated on page 172, a model can draw a line of sight to a large target over or through other models, which the reason why I didn't think it worked that way is because it was always saying how your line of sight's measured from the front rank type thing. I don't know, like even rear ranks, but
yeah.
Cool. This is good. That means the skeleton archer block against dragons is, providing they're all in range, is
they can all
pretty good.
Yeah, I do like that. It does sort of like give more oomph, I suppose, to large archer blocks, not having to be in some giant line.
Yeah, doesn't it? Totally. Like just missile weapons in general, given the propensity of large targets. And especially, I mean, imagine Iron Drakes. Like, do you get tempted to take little blocks of 10 5x2s, and then when people coming up with their dragons, they're all getting shot with...
You're just all getting shot,
and I'm guessing, imagine on stand and shoot. They all get to shoot as well. So... That's awesome buff.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah, there's nothing major, but they're all agreeing, I think. Units with the Motley Crew special rule use the armor value of the majority of their models. What if there is an even number? In such case, use the better armor value. So, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, here's some of these dumb ones. Is the armor value of a regen save improved by a shield or barding? No. It should be no with a little face slap emoji after it.
Stupid.
Now, I looked up the difference here, and I think I'm just trying to remember what it was. If a model with the Regen X special rule passes its regen save against an attack with multiple wounds, do I still need to roll the dice if the number of multiple wounds is generated by a dice roll? If the model has more than one single wound, yes. So that's the difference. Even though the wounds are saved, they still count towards combat res for purpose of overkill. If the model has only a single wound, there is no need. So I looked up that one you sent me, and it just used to talk about yes because of that. So I guess what people were probably doing is going, hey, I've got a D6 multi-wound weapon. You've just challenged me out with your champ with one wound, and then I definitely get to roll the D6.
Yeah.
And kill you outright.
Yeah. And then that's all taken into the combat res. Yeah.
Yeah. So does this means though that you don't, if you do that with a champ, you don't roll that out. So you don't, you only do one wound against the single model one.
Yeah. Or
saying there's no need.
Yeah. Or if there's multi-wound models only got one wound left, sort of thing. Yeah.
True. Yes, because it actually says the model only has a single wound, not a wound profile. Yeah, no. I saw that. I think that's different then, but I mean, that's fine. I don't disagree with it. It's okay. If a model with the split... Sorry, I keep taking... Do you want to read any out or it doesn't matter?
Oh, no, yeah. If a model with a split profile has a stomp attack, special rule, do all parts of the model make a stomp attack? No, the stomp attacks are made only by a mount, not by its rider. In the case of a chariot, stomp attacks are made by the beast that is drawing it. If there is no beast, or if there is no beast, by the chariot itself.
Yeah. Again.
I thought these were givens, but yeah.
Yeah. This is probably pretty good. So I think it was a bit debatable. Do models that cause terror cause it in models that cause fear? No, models that cause terror cause fear in models with the fear special rule, even though such models are normally immune to fear. Obviously, a lot of the ones like that are also immune to psych, so then they wouldn't be immune. They wouldn't fear. But for the ones that don't, like if you just, I don't know, say you take a sword that gives you terror as a normal elf, for example, and you get charged, then no, you do fear that terror causing thing. So I thought maybe there was a way to determine that through the current rules, but maybe it was
I thought it was
debatable.
too. Yeah, I thought that was very spelt out, but obviously there's something in there.
Okay, this is a little bit still weird to me, but this is skirmishes in general.
It's trying to fix it.
How do I determine the center of a unit of a skirmisher? So the center is a point that is equally distant from the models at the extremities of the group. Imagine trying to do the fucking maths on that. Anyway. However, when considering blast templates, I mean, I guess they are, maybe SBot probably did this explanation better, which I think is pretty close to what this is. But the extremities of the group seems a bit weird, but basically it should just say take the two models that have the furthest away, that's where the center is. Is that what that means?
Yeah, well, that's the way I'm guessing it. You kind of try and do some trigonometry and...
However, when considering blast templates, the purpose of placing a blast template over the center, I like this, its intention is to get the most number. In the case of a unit of skirmishers, this is not always possible. Therefore, you may place the central hole of a blast template over the model closest to the center of a unit of skirmishers. So I guess I keep going back to that idea because people were saying, like, imagine if you, where is it? You put your skirmishers in a circle, so therefore the blast goes in the middle.
Yeah.
It basically means to me that you can then just put it on any one of those guys, because if they're in a perfect circle, the extremities are in, the center is in the middle.
Yeah.
So therefore the closest model to the middle is all of them. So you can just go, well, where do I want to put that blast template?
Unless you have like a little trail or two guys into the center, and then you just, I don't know.
Mm,
It's
mm,
just,
mm.
there could still be like, I think that circle thing's just taking the piss. And I'm sure
Oh,
people
it
can
is.
still take the
I've never
piss if they
seen that,
want.
but people, yeah.
Nah, it's just, yeah. Anyway.
No. Sometimes when a unit of skirmishers charges or is charged, yeah, this one is crazy. Some of the models cannot move far enough to form up with the rest of the unit. What happens to those models? They lose coherency, which means they're removed from play as casualties until the unit becomes coherent. Wow.
Yeah. This needs to get fixed, surely.
Because there would be so many ways to, because it's happened. I mean, it's happened in our game multiple times where I think my Skelly Archers tried to charge your gyro once and two of them couldn't make it in. So they're just sort of hanging back a bit and then they made it in next turn or however it worked. I can't remember.
Well, you don't know how far your charge roll is going to be. So, I mean, it's going to make it so hard to charge. Like, that's, I don't know. It's kind of like they try to, like, I think, fix silly skirmish formations, but now it's kind of penalized even you could have a normal blob of skirmish, and if you think you got a safe charge roll, you only just make it, you could lose
I guess
a quarter a unit sort of thing.
No, absolutely. But I guess the cool thing to me is it makes skirmishers go, hey, you're not a combat unit. Don't fucking get in combat. You get in combat, you may die. Like, be skirmishing, shooting, be fucking annoying or whatever. Or be chaff and die. Like, get out there and you get charged and half your unit gets wiped out because coherency issue. But, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's a better, a better thing. And even things like, I mean, it probably doesn't affect skirmishing cav as much because they do have quite fast movement anyway. But yeah, I can see this, and it'll definitely stop massive like conga lining of skirmishers and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely the conga
because you just need an eagle to hit them on the flank, and half the unit's probably going to get wiped out. And I'm guessing that counts as combat res because I don't know if that was fact anywhere, but any damage, like there's this idea that like a template on an assailment spell hitting someone outside the combat actually counts towards the combat res as well and things like that. So there's, potential to think about that.
So I'm guessing the move is going to be twice its movement characteristic, basically for skirmishers, to bring them in.
Well, it's like, you mean if you got charged and you need to like rank up? Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, isn't that in the normal skirmishing rules, how far they can move to try to get into?
Well, isn't it that, or they move? So if you get charged, I think you move front rank plus. Is it one?
Yeah, just got to be in base. Yeah.
And then basically everything.
The others have to try rank up behind, but do they only move their movement or whatever the skirmish rule says? It'll be either their movement value or their double the movement, but I don't think it'd be double.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it specifies if you get charged. You get to rank up. I thought that was the whole.
Oh, okay. I might be wrong. Is it only when you charge?
Yeah, if somebody charges you. But yeah, if you charge, that's the opposite. It's got to be within the charge range, and then that's when you can basically go out.
Okay, I haven't really used a lot of skirmishes to actually run into this issue because they never get in combat or they just die anyway because there's only 5 of them. I mean, there's something tells me I like it. I just haven't. I hope it doesn't penalise the ones that aren't being stupid with skirmishes. Do you know what I mean? Like if you just got 10 ranges and they're quite close together, but suddenly every time they get in combat, 2 of them die. It's like
2 or 3 die.
Yeah, because they're not really going to die. I mean, come on, people. Yeah. Like if this was real. But anyway, that's going to be a pretty interesting one to see how it plays out.
It'd be very cagey with charges, I reckon. They're going to be a good chance of you losing quite a few guys.
Cool. Do you want to do the next one?
Sure. So characters, if a unit that is subject to any leadership, this is good actually, modifiers uses the general's inspiring presence, do they ignore the modifiers? No, the modifiers still apply. For example, if a unit loses a round of combat to a terror-causing enemy, the -1 modifier to leadership caused by the terror applies to whichever leadership characteristic the unit is making its break test against. be that its own or the general's.
Yeah, awesome. So that's what we were talking about when we were debating the SBot FAQ, which is fine. Like they did what they need to do. But I think we were right in the sense that, no, like you get your modifier, like you set your leadership however you can, and then your modifier is taken into account. I guess that isn't answering if your general is debuffed. Again, I would say rules intended, you take the general's debuffed leadership if you choose to use his leadership, as well.
Agreed.
So it's a buff to Terragheist. It's not so much a buff. We never played it the other way, but the fact some of the people were arguing, no, you can override the debuff by taking the general's inspiring presence was debuffing things like the scream, and now this is like, no, that doesn't count. Herald the Old World just said 186, any skirmishers that cannot make base contact must instead form up behind the fighting rank. That's when they're being charged. However, no model in the charged unit can move further than its movement characteristic. So it's the same thing. Like if you charge a unit of skirmishers, they only get to move up to their movement. That's why I was saying, like, if you get charged in the flank or something, you could probably break
so it's
up
not
the
double.
unit.
Yeah. No. Well, that's what I was trying to work out, the move. What do they classify as the move? So there you go.
It's very scary because like a dwarf only moves 3 inches, right? So if they're spread out, say 7 inches or 8, you get charged in the flank. You can't. Those dudes right over. Well, you can't see my hands, but those dudes way over this side can't make it back. Really, I mean.
Well, that's what happened in Belcon. So I charged my rangers into another unit of rangers. And I could only basically put 5 in or 4 in or whatever it was, because that's all I could make base contact with my charge move. But he got, with the rules, he could basically make base contact and 2 each side. So he got more attacks, even though I charged him, sort of thing.
I think this would, so going back to this, sorry, I got, I'm still getting over this cough. Do they still have to conform to the idea of that they fully have to rank up? Or if you fully can't complete your fighting rank, can you still rank behind? This might just be a normal skirmish rule, I can't remember, to keep, to not lose your units. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I guess what I'm saying is in an event that you can't move it, like, could you rank up as a conga line or not? You have to fully form that fighting rank, and if not, they die as well.
Yeah, I would say you'd have to conform to the initial make as many as you can in base contact.
Wow, this is going to be very interesting. Wood Elves aren't going to like this either, potentially.
Yeah, so it's basically
they've got a bit of movement, but dwarves, okay, there you go. Donna just said, Herald the Old World just said you have to fill the ranks. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I feel bad not knowing the full skirmish rules, so I don't really use them.
It's whatever your charge roll is, the guys at the front that are closest making the charge to make that front rank, you'd have to fill them out as many as you could.
Yes, yeah.
And
but if you can't do it, then they die. Yeah.
Well, the ones behind attempting to, make the rear ranks, if they can't, they're going to evaporate.
Wow. It's going to nerf rangers, because I think some of the other ones like Wood Elves with movement of 5, it probably doesn't affect them as much. But
big units of rangers. I think those big units of skirmishers is really gonna,
which is probably pretty good too. But anyway, we'll see. Going back to my point, it sort of means, hey, if you got skirmishers, bring them there for shooting and redirecting and getting in the way. You don't bring them as a way to make it annoying to have combat and stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
If my battle standard bearer refuses a challenge and retires from combat, can other units still benefit from their hold the ground? Not whilst the character's unit is still engaged. With the model that issued the challenge, battle standards are somewhat less inspirational whilst being used as a blanket to hide beneath. Yeah.
Good rule.
Love how they do that. No, you're right, Harold, mate. It's a huge change. That one little few lines, it's a massive change. I thought that was the case with the BSB because it says you can't use anything, but I guess it's good to get it clarified. This is an armor of ages. At least it knocks these stupid people whinging about what better means. If I have a character with an armor value of 6+, is this the one? Maybe it's not. Mounted on a chariot with an armor value of 4+, for example, am I obliged to use the chariot's armor? Oh, no, this is it. Yeah. No, you choose what ever armor value is better. However, allowing for magical armor and other special rules, better is somewhat subjective. Yeah, duh. Obviously, an armor value of 4+ is better than one of 6+, but there is often more to deciding what armor to use than just be the armor value it offers. Many types of magic armor confer additional bonuses that make them better. Basically, when the rule says choose, they are giving you a choice. I love that because that was the funny thing. It's like the illusion of choice. You get a choice, but you have to use this one.
Yeah.
You actually get a choice. So, yeah, no, I like it.
I might hit the next one. So, yeah, does the presence of in a unit of a character whose base takes up the space of 2 or more models in 2 or more ranks reduce the unit's rank bonus? No. So that's good. That's spelled out.
That's good to know because you use that too, and
yeah. I thought it was a given, but again,
same.
Yeah.
Can a character who's within the fighting rank of their unit, but not this what we were talking about the other day, but not in base contact with the enemy, move through the ranks so they are? No, characters can move through the ranks into the fighting rank, but cannot move within the fighting rank. And I think going back, we really need to get that video out. Great way to protect characters, or not, depending on how it works. But I think that's even in some games I've played, people have moved characters around occasionally, and I'm just like, you actually have to reform. Like you can't just willy nilly. Once you've placed them, they're in there, unless they get unless they're in the fighting rank, like in the flank, and they can move into that fighting rank, but they have to go back, afterwards too. And I don't know if it means they have to go back where they were, or that might be a bit debatable, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this one, I'm assuming I know what it means, but can a character be placed amongst a unit's command group? Yes. So
I like that.
Yeah. I'm guessing does that mean the standard still has to be central?
I don't know, because it said the standard has to be center, but I don't know if it means just between the 3 of those command groups, they're center. But now, because I can put them in there, so I don't know, but not sure. And this is pretty useful, probably I would imagine for even like ogres as well. That probably you want to have your character in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Or just more central, it does help. Going back to that other point
above.
Cool. My unit wishes to shoot at an enemy lone character. However, an enemy unit that is more than 3 inches away from that character presents a closer target. Can I shoot at that lone character? Yes. The rule that a lone character cannot be shot at unless they are the closest target only extends to units they are within 3 inches of. If a unit is more than 3 inches from the character, it does not protect them, regardless of how close it is to the enemy. Duh. But yeah, I know it's just how it's written. I can see why people wrote it the other way, but still.
Exactly.
We
got weapons of war.
I'll do this one because it's so dumb, and you can do the next one. Is the armor value of a ward save improved by a shield or barding? No.
Another face slap. Stupid. War machines. If the wounds characteristic of a war machine and its crew are different, which do I determine the unit strength? So in such cases, use the wounds characteristic of the crew. So that's pretty good because I'm guessing if you lose crew, your unit strength will be going down.
Oh, does it? Because I thought it just is.
Or you think it stays?
Well, it's like dragons and everything, isn't it?
Does it say initial?
Wounds.
Well, yeah.
I think it's the same as that, but I just think there must be some war machines where they got more crew than wounds or something.
Okay.
And so therefore, is it the lower war? Because it says the war machines, I think, in the troop types, the war machine wounds or whatever it is. And this is just saying, my view of this is you just take the highest wound characteristic between the two, and then that's your unit strength until you die. Because I don't think your unit strength goes down. I don't know with war machines. I'd assume it's like
I'm not sure war machines. I think
dragons
that it says monsters. It's like starting wounds. So I don't know if it says.
Oh, okay. Well then, yes, you're right. Probably.
Just depends on how it's worded, I suppose.
Yeah,
it could say starting wounds.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't want to bring up the book now, but and Howard just said also, or there might be war machines with crews that have multiple wounds. Yeah, true. I'm not sure.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. I mean, there is those ogre ones, but are they war machines or chariots? I think they're chariots. Do the points I spend on core units within an allied contingent count towards the minimum percentage of core? No. So, I mean, that's how I would have read it, but it is what it is.
Does a spell cast on a regimental unit affect its detachment or vice versa? No, the spells that affect a unit only affect the unit they are cast on.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't used them, so I don't really know if there's... I'm sure there's cases that do say in rules that, if it's, it confers across, but it would have to be spelled out,
Yeah.
We got an answer for, does the spell Plague of Rust reduce the armor value of a ward or regen save? No. So it's good to know. I think most people were leaning and playing it that way, but great to have it spelled out. I'll just do potions affect models mount? No. And how?
What do we got?
Yeah, the spell arcane one, I think.
Yeah, so how many spells does a wizard with an arcane familiar know? For example, does level 3 wizard know 3 spells from 2 laws, 2 from one and 1 from the other, or 6 spells from each law? An arcane familiar does not increase the number of spells a wizard knows. It simply allows them to know spells from 2 laws. Thus, a level 3 wizard would know 3 spells from 2 laws.
Which I thought that's what that magic item said, but anyway, cool. Oh, do you want to summarize this now, or you want to wait to the end, like before we jump onto the other ones, or like what's?
I can do a quick summary.
I mean, the big changes, at least for my stuff, is that shooting one definitely was good, the large target, and obviously the skirmish one is like, wow, that's pretty big. And apart from that, just clarifying some of those rules as intended around better and stuff, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks out for you? You're going to have to worry about the skirmish.
You said exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Just some of them are just, I think just people just trying to take the mickey out of some rules I mean, look, sometimes people might clarify or just have their own interpretations.
No worries. I'll let you do Forces of Fantasy. I can do the Ravening Hordes one if you want.
Yeah. So the Imperial Griffin special rule, delete 2 heads from the end of the Imperial Griffin list of special rules. I'm not too sure what that is, but I'm sure.
So I think it was a typo or an addition that didn't need to be there. It can still add it on. I think it's something you pay for, so it's technically not on the special rules. Do you know what I mean? You add it. So I think it was duplicated or something. So it's just a fix-up, I think.
And the Dwarven Mountain Holds. I wish I had a copy of this. So who changed the strength characteristic? I don't know if better or worse, but you're going to change it to strength +2. I'm guessing it's strength 5, so it's going to be, I think this is the Slayer King, I believe. I think.
Oh, is it? Cool. Yeah, I didn't know. And it's funny. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, what is this? Is this a nerf or is this a buff?
Yeah.
We'll have to hang on and wait.
And then, some more Dwarf Mountain Holds. Can a royal champion in a unit of hammerers put weapon runes on their great hammer? No, weapon runes can only be inscribed upon a hand weapon or great weapon. And whilst a great hammer is similar to a great weapon, it is not a great weapon. A great hammer is a unique type of weapon with its own profile, which it is, yes.
So is a great hammer a thing for the hammerers anyway? Is that just a thing?
Yeah. So they get like a initiative boost, and it's not a great weapon. It's like a great weapon, but not.
Yeah.
So this is good. It's just clarifying basically with the Slayers when they die, can they use their Death Blow special rule? The Slayer rule with Death Blow, and it's yes.
Oh, that's good because we wanted it that way, but we weren't sure. Oh, that's good. That gives them a slight buff too. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's good. Yeah. Okay, I like that.
So they're going to wound on a 4+. Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to hit Empire?
Can a steam tank's steam cannon fire grape shot? Yes, grape shot can be fired by a cannon, by any cannon, sorry, as described on page 226. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, I'm assuming it works similar to how it used to, but I can't remember. Can a steam tank's engineer commander and steam cannon both shoot during the same turn? Yes, the engineer commander doesn't fire the steam cannon. Imagine there's a very hot and bothered crew hidden away inside the steam tank whose endeavours lead the engineer commander free to fire their own weapon. That's cool. I can't remember what was 8th that you could do. I'm pretty sure you could anyway. I can't remember. Pretty sure people played it that way, but it's good to know.
Yeah, not sure.
I didn't look up the difference here, so no real... I don't know what this... The Wood Elf one.
Oh, with the ambush. Oh, is it ambush?
The extra wood. Oh, yeah, additional wood using the woodland ambush rule. Can a Wood Elf Realmed army that includes an allied contingent place an additional wood using the woodland ambush rule? Yes. Note, however, that an allied contingent of Wood Elves taken as part of another army cannot.
Okay.
And can a Wood Elf army that includes an allied... Oh, okay. I wonder... I remember the FAQ used to talk a little bit about when you could place that. You had to be a Wood Elf army, which that's just basically saying that's what it is.
Yeah, so yeah,
like an allied contingent can't, because the actual army isn't a Wood Elf army. I don't know. People tell us what it was. I deleted all my FAQs. It's silly. I should have thought of that. I just hate having the wrong versions, and I get the wrong version mixed up. So that's why I just want to get rid of them and then change them to this. Cool. I think that's... I guess summarizing that, I mean, we don't know what this dwarf one is, but outside of that, I think the big change is just the Slayer one, which is a good change. Which is cool.
Yep.
And then we have the Ravening Hordes, which interestingly I didn't realise till just before was it's trademarked, which is cool. I didn't realise that. So the big nerf, Night Goblin, rather than 0 to 3 fanatics, that includes 0 to 1 fanatics per 10 Night Goblins to a maximum of 3. So big change. Very much needed change. And I like the change here that they've done this rather than at some point go, oh, you can only take 3 core choices or something like that. It's like just nerfed it down. And yeah, it's nerfed it, but if you want to take, say, units of 20, 3 units of 20 with, you still get 6 fanatics. I mean, they're pretty good. So it just limits them down but doesn't stop you. I mean, if you wanted to take 3 units of 30 and put them in marching columns still, and you'd still have 9 fanatics. Yeah, like you could still do it, but you're just eating into your points more. So
yeah, were they 25 points each normally?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've always been that. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So they haven't changed that.
Yeah, it's just stopping those 10-unit darts that I was trying to run against you the other day. Yeah, with 3, which is totally makes
you're
sense.
Allowed to. You're allowed to.
Yeah.
Nah, it's good.
Good change. Yeah. What happens to a fanatic that moves into or through the front arc of a unit of Bretonian peasant bowmen equipped with defensive stakes? Nothing good. Defensive stakes function very much like linear terrain. Therefore, a fanatic that moves into contact with a row of defensive stakes from any direction comes to a very sudden stop and is removed from play as a casualty. That's cool. So that's basically just like a wall.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim, I know this fanatic change is good. It doesn't make them useless. They're awesome, but it stops them being stupid. I hate the idea of having something in your army that you don't want to take because, you know, it's stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like you want to be able to go, I'm going to take fanatic spam and it's still not overbearing. Whereas right now you do that, it's overbearing. So it's good to...
Yeah. No, it is good. Did you want to hit all these? Because these are all your armies.
Oh, okay, yeah. When a shooting Doomdiver catapult, the template can be moved D3 inches after scattering. Can I use this to move the template so that it hits an enemy character that is within 3 inches of a unit? A character that could not usually be targeted by shooting. Yes, the template must be moved the full distance rolled on the D3, but if that allows you to position it to hit an enemy character, you may do so. Sneaky Goblin Doomdivers steer their fight in an attempt to hit the best possible target. So this is completely in character. I mean, it's interesting, these changes, because you would probably rule that this is still targeting something within 3, so therefore you can't. So I can see why people have asked the question. I also don't mind these little exceptions, but the annoying thing is, do people take an answer like this and then extrapolate it to something else, which I'm not sure. When you read the flavour text there, they're saying, you know, it's a Sneaky Goblin Doomdiver. It's like, well, is it applicable? So it's a bit frustrating that there's these weird exceptions in a way. Yeah, Jim just said to run 9 fanatics, you now need 3 night goblin characters and at least 90 goblins. This is a good outcome rather than making fanatics more points. Yeah, totally. That's exactly right. And it makes it a more themed army because you've got these big night goblin units and they're shooting fanatics. Totally in character.
That's good.
Would be nice if they had. I've answered that question in regards to earthen ramparts. Right. Okay. So that's for the fanatics because it's a wall. It says it's like an but it's an they die if they hit an linear obstacle, don't they? I obviously haven't ran into that, but I'm assuming it's a bit debatable. Yeah, it counts as being behind a defended low linear obstacle if charged. It just says if charged. But yeah, come on, yeah. I think that's I could see you pulling that out and saying, well, it should be that as well. It should be in the next FAQ. I know. Sorry, we're going in goblins here because we're about to go out of Orc and Goblins section. But yes, I'll answer this one. Well, not answer, but I agree. Zen Fox Game says, no answer to if you can take a Black Orc chariot as a mount in a grand army. And yeah, I know. It's like that would have been good, good to see. Which the FAQ, I thought I missed that. I thought they did mention something about. Oh, no, it's here. Orc and Goblins. Sorry. The journal. It's separate. That's annoying. You got the Orc and Goblin tribes and Orc and Goblin Arcane journal. Okay, that's why I was like, there is some stuff. But yes, I noticed they didn't answer that question. Yeah. I know our spot ruled you can. Again, I don't know. If I was taking Orcs to Castle, I would have asked Kendall if we could take a Black Orc chariot, but I guess still need an FAQ on that one. Tomb Kings, this is sad for me, but it's fine. I've got no issue with it. Are the effects of the Casket of Souls bound spell lighter protection cumulative? No. So you can't get a -2 to hit effectively. Me personally for Castle, I'm still going to take 2 caskets. I still think the fact that they've just said lighter protection still tells me that the spell, +1 to cast, bound spells and stuff still stacks. Ward save never stacked anyway. And so to me, it just means, I guess there's more reason with 2 caskets to shoot the Light of Death, because if you get one of the lighter protections up, you might as well shoot Light of Death because you can't, there's no use having 2 up unless you want the buff of 6+ ward across a bigger range, which again is fine. And you still might put 2 lighter protections up because it means someone else to dispel 2 of them to get to negate your -1 to hit. So it's a bit sad that I won't go -2 to hit on my dragon if he's in range, but I think I can live with that. Tomb King Journal, that's all the same. Orc and Goblin tribes. If I take a Black Orc war boss as the general of a nomadic war, can I take a unit of boar boys as a core choice? No, a Black Orc war boss is not an Orc war boss. So, cool. Yeah, different unit entries, so that makes sense. In a nomadic war, I can take 1 Black Orc boss per Black Orc chariot. If I take a Black Orc boss mounted on a chariot, does that count? No. You can take 1 Black Orc boss per Black Orc chariot taken as core or rare choice. It does not matter what the boss is mounted on. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I agree. It would have been nice to ask about the Black Orc chariot in the general, the Grand Army as well. Can a Troll Hag be the general of an Orc and Goblin tribes made using the Grand Army? No, a Troll Hag is a rare choice in the Orc and Goblin tribes army, Grand Army comp list. She can, however, be the general of a Troll Horde. I mean, that was pretty obvious, but again, fair enough. Cool. Wow. FAQs in time for Castle, so that's pretty good.
They're good.
I think, to know that you're not going against stupid Night Goblin spam, I think a lot of people would have comped that out anyway, but that's good. It's a bit sad about the casket for me, but it's pretty minor. It doesn't bother me too much, especially given my list that I'm going to take with the archers when you get a buff for the... Because I actually asked Kendall about that, and he ruled like I thought that, no, you wouldn't take... Because I thought you wouldn't get full line of sight from your rear ranks against large targets, because that was never a thing, was it, in other versions either?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So I just didn't think it worked that way. But and Kendall had ruled this week. He told me, no, he wouldn't rule it that way either. But now this FAQ's out. I shot him a message this morning. Went, well, it's the other way. It does rule. Yeah. It does go that way. So I think I'd take that anyway over the other one. So that's pretty good.
Well, it's good because like most large targets now, like, because it's kind of that hero hammer, monster hammer. So I mean, it's sort of giving you more ways to be able to tackle these monsters. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it does,
can't see
doesn't it? Especially with poison shooting like that, where you can have effectively 40 shots. I mean, again, you need to be in range, and that's not
Yeah,
always the
exactly.
case.
Yeah.
But if you are in range, if you've got, say, 20 to 30 to 40 shots going, wounding on sixes,
Yeah.
you potentially are doing a couple of wounds over time. So yeah, no, it definitely even the other change, what we were talking, it was like outside of the poison archers, just some of those other, especially dwarfs, like if you got good BS and strength 4 shooting, gives you a bit more reason to take little units of 10 2x5s or something if there's, there's large targets around.
Yeah.
Everyone's running large targets.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't really touched on anything to nerf the, this 2-up armor save, 5-up, 5-up regen ward save. Like there's nothing even out there. So I wonder if there is something, people have been saying like in the background, just wait till everything's sort of released.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, no, because you're right. Like it still does feel that even though I don't know if, it's weird, isn't it? It's not like dragons are totally OP to the point where they just sit there by themselves and destroy an army. But the reality is when you go and look at the armies that are winning, they've generally got something equivalent to a dragon. It feels like to fight the dragon, you need to have another dragon.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean the dragon wins. It might just mean that you guys tank each other and don't do anything, and the rest of your army plays against the rest of the army. Yeah. But it just feels like, there still needs, potentially something. But, I mean, just this missile thing might change some things. The biggest thing I want to see what happens here is skirmishers, because that's just dangerous.
Yeah.
I could see you're losing multiple figures if you get charged. Even if you are an elf, you get charged in you get charged in the flank, or close to one side. Whatever the longest. I don't know if it's the flank, but the parallel to your sort of the longest path from your furthest guy to your closest guy. It means they can pretty much die. So.
You'd have to almost just really just have them almost in a blob where it's ranked up. So when you do get charged,
back to the 8th edition, which actually I just feel like I don't know why. I mean, there is some cool things to be able to move them around, but it's not AOS or 40k. It would have been nice that 8th edition skirmish system. I think it's just quicker. Just put them on a tray, spaced out, give them some benefits because, they already have great benefits. 360 line of sight and charge is freaking great. Who cares if they're a small blob?
Yeah.
And you'd solve everything. There's a few changes that I hope V2 gets. But, let's get the rest of the armies out first. Cool. Well, what did everyone else think? There was some comments there that, the hit dice rolling is interesting. And, the skirmishes could be pretty boned. I guess we'll have to see that. And Harold says about the skirmishers too, I think it feels right. Those units aren't fully intended to be combat efficient. And if you decide to spread them right out, when they get hit, they are too far apart to support each other. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind when you flick back to the idea of a skirmish unit, it's supposed to be, it doesn't want to be in combat. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be, see what people do with their lists. Is it going to change your castle assault list at all? Really, not really. It's just how you use those ranges, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think I'm probably taking the undead, and I've got the skirmishing ghouls. But my ghouls, I kind of keep them in a blob anyway. They don't shoot. So yeah. Yeah,
no, they're not there for that. They're for 10-inch moves and reserve move.
You just got to be careful, not be silly.
Yeah. Jim's saying, what happens if I roll 3 ones on my squig hoppers? Yeah. The random movement skirmishers are going to be interesting because, if you roll pretty low and they are designed for combat, you are screwed. So, yes, that is interesting.
Yeah, it's that charge one, especially if you're charging in, and you only just make it, like, it's
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if you've got small units and they're only like 5 and there's just 5 in a row, then the chances are they either all make it or they don't. So it's probably not that big a deal. But if you are spread out or whatever, especially if you're trying to do a flank, it negates this. Even though I can see you over, again, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Even if I'm a skirmisher and I can see you to my right, I still might not want to charge now. Like even, unfortunately, it's not nerfing pegs or something because they've got such high movement. It probably won't affect them anyway.
Nah.
Just
I don't want to slow things down either. Like, you're trying to get the ruler out and you're just like, oh, he can only move, he rolled this, and you're trying to work out exactly where each skirmish is going to be. You want it to kind of be quick, not this slow measuring.
Yeah, that's the problem with skirmishes in general, isn't it? Yeah. Hopefully, Ah, cool. Well, hopefully people enjoyed our... I mean, I'd skimmed this and like woken up this morning and skimmed it on my phone. So I'm sure I missed a heap of stuff. Peg nights are still going to peg. I know, that's the problem. So yeah, hopefully people appreciate that. I'm sure other stuff will come out as we reread it and go through it. But yeah, just for those watching this after the fact, although I might just release it separately because I don't know if the live streams are easy to find. I can't remember. Just throw some comments. What did we miss? What did you like? Are you changing your lists? What's the, things like that? Not just for Castle, but in general. I'd really love to know. And we'll obviously chat with Josh about this on Monday as well. We've got a big weekend. We will catch up on the Dwarf Law one. I read about half of it, but that's it. So maybe we can try get one out of the weekend or something. And pre-orders are up tomorrow, hopefully, and we will see what happens. And we still don't know if it's a 2-week pre-order or a 1-week, do we?
Oh, I just want to get this stupid book. I just want someone to do a review or something. I'm hanging out for it. I'm hanging out for this book.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Thanks, Andrew, for jumping on. I know it was it's always busy on a morning, but jumping in and get this out. And yeah, thanks for all our watchers and listeners and comments. We've got a good little bunch here. So thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers, guys.